Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kia here, and I'm just gonna point out the obvious and say that I have a pimple right there on my chin. So thank you guys so much for all the love on the recent video. You guys are actually watching the entire video and watching me what I do from a day to day. So that's what's up, and I appreciate you guys. But today I just want to have like a little chit chat with you guys. Ask some of you to, or ask you guys to ask me some questions on Instagram, just anything that you wanted to know. And I just kind of wanted to have like a mini conversation. It's not really going to be a long video, I don't think. I just started watching or listening to some worship by Victoria Orens. I've been seeing all her worship tapes out on either social media or like on YouTube, and I've never fully listened to it. And now that I actually been listening to it, child, like I haven't been able to come out of the presence of God. But I'm here. The minute I finish this video, I'm gonna go back into that because it's okay. You guys asked me some questions. The first question that you guys wanted to know is, was your husband okay with you being a stay-at-home wife? I want to be one when I'm married. So this is a conversation that my husband and I had prior to us getting married, and I feel like that's a conversation that needs to be held prior to marriage, so we're both on the same page, or you guys are both on the same page, that when you get married, nobody's caught us on surprise that you ain't going to work. You know what I mean? So me and my husband had this conversation prior to us getting married, and what God is specifically calling me to in this season. The Lord has not told me to go get a job at all. That's a conversation that I had to have with him, because it was by faith, only faith, that when I moved on my own, the Lord has been providing for me. I have not had a job in almost over a year. And I know everybody has mixed feelings about stay-at-home wives, and some people feel like it's just a sense of laziness. But I believe if God is calling you to be a stay-at-home wife, then it's better to be obedient than to just follow the norm of what people desire for you to do. So I've had this conversation with him. I told him exactly what the Lord wanted, and he agreed. He believed that, okay, like if this is what God is saying, we're going to be obedient and trust that he's going to provide. So my husband is okay with me being a stay-at-home wife, and with that does not come with me just sitting home doing anything, or doing nothing, I should say. I have, as you guys saw in the last video, I do a lot around the house. I try to make sure that by the time he comes home, literally everything is like picked up and clean. Sometimes like I'm still cleaning and getting stuff done when he comes, but for the most part I try not to make him worry too much about housework. The only thing that I do bug my husband about is just picking, like if he's drinking a water bottle, just don't leave the water bottle there on the ground, like just throw it in the garbage, like things like that. Other than that, I don't really like ask him to do much around the house. So my job here as a home wife or housewife, or however you want to say it, is not only am I an entrepreneur, so I make sure I take care of my business, the ministry. I make sure that I set the atmosphere for when my husband comes home. He feels the presence of God. It's not just an atmosphere of arguing and like tension or any type of malice. He feels like he can relax, he can unwind, he can get through the day, get through the rest of the evening. I try to, this doesn't always happen because sometimes I just don't have time, or I just don't do it, I don't know, but I try to have something prepared for him to eat, like a snack or something before dinner time. It doesn't always work like that. Sometimes he would just grab a bag of chips or fruit and just eat that, but then other times that he would eat whatever it is that I prepared for him. So yeah, he's okay with it. It's been I believe that in this process, in that season of my husband being the only one who is the sole provider for the house, and that has been teaching a lot about not only surrendering to God, because in this prior season before I got married, it was the same exact thing where I had to trust God for financial assistance, and we have been without worry. Glory to God for that. Yeah, he's okay with it. It's just a part of the season that God has us in, and you know, the Lord will provide more where I can be a contributing factor into the household as well. But I do advise that if you guys do look into being a housewife, that it's the Lord's doing for your home, and that your husband is okay with that decision as well. Question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? So in 5 years, I don't know, like I want to say that in 5 years I'm 24, be 29, I'll be 29. So in 5 years, I would love to have already birthed 2 children. So all God's willing, I would love to have already 2 birthed children, and then, you know, I have a bonus daughter on top of that, so we will have 3 children by then. Also, I would love to be in our forever home, our built, designed home by us by then. I would also love for us to be settled down in terms of finances, structure, home structure, and what else? I would love for us to financially independent, so my husband not having to work a 9 to 5, work for ourselves and just do ministry full time. If I can say, like, she favors the ministry aspect of it, I would say that in 5 years I would love to see She Favors International and see or just witness what God can do across the globe with this ministry. So yeah, that's kind of like all that I can think of right now. 5 years is pretty much a short-term goal, and I believe God can fulfill all these things in a short-term manner. All right, so next question is how to deal with Marley's mom. And that question came up when I first read it. I was like, what do you mean, like how I had to deal with her, or how I deal with her? I don't deal with her in terms of like try to control anything or be ahead of anything at all. We are pretty cordial. There isn't much that kind of needs to happen, because it just doesn't, like, there's not much that needs to happen. I just believe that when families are blended, there needs to be some sort of conversations, and healthy conversations, especially because the child is in the middle. And I'm a big advocate on mental health with children, and making sure that they're environments where they can be safe. Overall, I don't deal with her. I kind of don't even like that term. We're very cordial. We speak when it's needed to be spoken to. There isn't any animosity, there isn't any tension. Glory to God, because I've heard stories of different, but I believe that all in all, that the peace of the Lord will be my strength. So yeah, we do everything for Marley. In fact, it has nothing to do with how we may feel about anything. Everything goes for the better good of Marley's upbringing. So yeah, I mean, I guess because society has made this image of what blended families look like. And what I love about this entire situation is we're in the journey of breaking those stereotypes that blended families have to be quarrelsome. Like it must be some sort of animosity between the stepmother and the birth mother, or there must be some type of resentment towards one party or the other. And what I have seen through all of this, by the glory of God, is that society standards isn't God's standard. And what all about this is, and in fact, that it creates a more healthy environment when the child can see 2 healthy parents co-parenting effectively, and not trying to cause any discord that can later on hinder the child's development in different types of areas. So blended families is something I believe when you have a blended family, it's really important to be very open in communication, especially to your spouse. I'm just gonna read one more because the video just got super long. What's the biggest miracle you've seen God perform for you? There's so many, actually. One would be God actually saving me from the pits of death, literally. I was on my one-way ticket to hell, and God completely saved me through that. I do have a testimony video you guys can watch down below. I'll link it down below for you to watch. But God completely saved me from myself. Literally, he saved me from myself. And then another miracle I've seen God do is, a lot of people don't know this, but my father in 2016, my father had a stroke and he had a heart attack at the same time. And if anybody knows anything about strokes or heart attacks, is if you don't reach or have immediate care, especially strokes, it can lead to death. And not only did he have both of those strokes and a stroke and heart attack at the same time, he had them both 2 times in 1 week. So he had it, went to the hospital, was in the hospital, had it again, and then I believe like a couple months later he had a heart attack again. But all in all, he's still alive. The doctor said that he would never walk, he would never talk, he would never do anything of those things again. And my dad is walking, he is talking, he is breathing, he is living. He lives in Grenada, a little island in the Caribbean. I speak to him often on the phone. So it's just a miracle to see how good God is. In a situation as that, the immediate thought of a person would be, well, that's it, that person is gonna die. And even though I wasn't even saved at that time, I just knew that this God that I knew of was big enough to fulfill that. And I knew that God still had a purpose for his life, and whatever capacity and what that may look like, that God was going to preserve his life. And yes, my dad is walking, he's talking after therapy and all those things that's needed for rehab recovery. But all in all, I would say that is the biggest miracle I've ever seen, because that year, the next 2 years, 3 years for him was very traumatic. And not even just traumatic for my dad alone, but for me and my siblings. And just seeing what I knew my dad to be growing up to now, what he looked like afterwards, was such a big change for me to emotionally collect. So yeah, God is still in the business of doing miracles, signs, and wonders, and I believe God that he can continue to do that in all areas of my life, and not just for me, but for people around me also. So I know that it was directed more so a miracle for my dad, but like I said, it's more of a connection, because if God is doing it for those around me, I know that he can do it for me. The same prayers that these people can pray to receive those miracles, I still have that access to the Father to receive those same miracles. So I'm still shouting and praising with everyone around me who receives those miracles. So yeah, that's a little chit chat from me today. I love y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in to another video. If you guys enjoy these types of chit chats, let me know in the comment section. See you in my next video. Peace.